This is Nick.
I'm Nick.
And he's been a good friend of mine for years, and he's always down to help with any of my builds, from routine maintenance to restoring rust buckets. He's always willing to help without much complaint.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So when he and his dad, Russ, told me that they had purchased an MR2 for a track car, I was ecstatic to help build it. So here's the plan. Source some top tier parts, blow up the engine. Oh, what is that?
Oh no!
Wait, blow up the engine? That's not part of the plan. Oh well, replace that blown up engine with a newer engine, install that new engine, boost it, tune it, track it, let's go. At this point, our little MR2 has gone from busted to banging on all cylinders with its new 1ZZ FE out of a Corolla.
Woo! Now that it's running under its own power again, it's time to pull it back in the garage, start pulling it apart.
With the exhaust, manifold, intake, battery, and various lines and connectors out of the way, we can lay out our turbo kit from turbokits.com. Looks like we got a bunch of tubes and a spinny boy and a whole bunch of other stuff. So what do you got in your hands there?
Sure, so I actually have the official instruction manual. This was developed by Black Label Fab in Connecticut, and then the rights were bought out by turbokits.com. This is a proven kit right here. This thing actually has not been changed much since it was developed back in 2006, and that's great. It means it has some proven reliability. So the first many pages are all on disassembly, which you can see we've already done.
Yep.
So we're going to start with the first step of installation, which is going to be our exhaust manifold. We actually have a really nice black coating here on this manifold, as well as our downpipe, the hot side of the turbo, and that's it. This is actually from Central Connecticut Coating. The guy over there, Gene, hooked us up with their Extreme Black formula. So this is their own custom formula, and this is a thermal coating that's designed to significantly reduce just the heat that comes off of this, but also the amount of heat that will be absorbed by this metal from the exhaust. And that serves a lot of things. One, it actually keeps your exhaust gases hotter before they go to your turbo. And then coming out of the turbo, it's going to keep the whole engine bay a lot cooler as well. And most of this is coated on the inside and out.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
We want to go over there and check out how he actually does this. So, Gene, if you're watching this, we'd love to come to your facility and check out the process, because I'm interested if he like dips it or if he sprays it, because it seems like it goes all the way in there. So it's kind of hard to pick up on camera.
This definitely has a full coating inside and out, which is fantastic, because obviously the thermal coating is working both in ambient air outside of it, as well as your actual exhaust gas is going
so
inside.
Neat.
So it's working
so
twice,
cool.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, yeah.
Love that. I can't wait to put this on and see what it looks like too.
turbokits.com manifold. This is just the basic kind of cast piece. You can get really high-end, custom manifolds that are equal length and all that stuff. But this is a proven method. It works great, and that's what we're using.
Let's put it on.
Yep. Oh, look at that. Woo. So we watched the video that's a part of the instruction manual here, which is specific to clocking the turbo, and we found out that ours is already clocked properly. So I cannot confirm whether they will all be clocked this way, but this is the correct orientation. So you're going to have your flange pointing straight up, and then your center section has the oil in, also pointing straight up, which leaves your return with the plug or cap facing straight down, and then this is where your compressor side is going to be. It's slightly Well, you can see from the video.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would recommend watching the video just to better understand how the system works. Make sure that your wastegate is set up properly, that this flapper here is completely closed at rest. Make sure that everything is tight. Confirm that all these bolts on both sides of the housing are tight, and you should be good to go. All right, so the wastegate actuator was actually pointing in the wrong direction. It was pointing over there, which would have made getting this line over there a real pain.
So he's got it. You've got it attached here, and got to loop it around to go into this little guy right here.
Yep.
Let me just get focus here. But this was over here, so we had to undo these two bolts, undo the C-clip here, and then take that off. Flip this around, tighten that back up, orientate this the right way. Sit this on the end, make sure the flapper's completely closed, and then tighten it up, and you're good to go. So now the hose works.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so it turns out this was not correct. We actually want preload on the wastegate actuator. So from right here, with the C-clip removed and the arm able to be freely slid on and off, we're going to spin the arm 3 full rotations clockwise in order to shorten the length of it. This way, you'll need to pull on the arm and the actuator to get it to reach the wastegate, which is exactly what we want. That will provide the preload. A more precise way to do this would be to use like a coolant pressure tester to apply 8 to 10 psi to the wastegate vacuum line when setting the length of the arm. I'll link a tester in the description.
Alright, so we have the turbo mounted up to the manifold, and we decided to take the manifold off the car because it was a lot easier than having to fight gravity with the turbo. We'll see if there's any issues with the reinstall, but we think it's going to be good. But Nick, why don't you show them what we got here for like the nuts here, the washers, and how we put this together.
Yep. So there's 5 studs that are here on the turbo housing side. Basically, you use the shorter end, and you're going to get those to bottom out into the turbo. Nothing too hard, but it does help to use a nut or 2 nuts in order to tighten it in and then get these nuts off. We use the special high heat Loctite. It's questionable as to whether you need that.
It certainly doesn't hurt.
It does not hurt. So here on the turbo side, there's 4 of the shorter studs, and again, shorter end goes into the manifold. And then you're going to put on your gasket. Make sure to remember your gasket. Then the turbo, and then you have your special little beveled.
Here, hold that out nice and tight, and then I'll. There it is. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yep, beveled washer, and then the nut. All just one stud. This is actually the shortest of all the studs, and that goes. You can tell based on the downpipe. It's the one that has the cutout. So these are all normal bolt holes, but this one has a little slot in it.
It's there for a reason.
Essentially, it's like the top hole here on the turbo. So you put that one in first. Obviously, you put your gasket first, then your washer, then your nut with the stud, and then that's going to allow us to slide the downpipe on, and then we're going to install the studs and washers and nuts for the other ones. But that's going to happen once we're in the car.
And we're mounting it up for its final position. Yeah. We're not going to put this on now because we don't think there's going to be enough room to kind of maneuver it to get it on. But we did want to just show you that this cutout here, this notch, is there for a reason. So, you know, you put the nut on top of the stud, leaves a little section here. You can then slide the pipe right on, and then you can install all your other studs here.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
The washer will go on top of the downpipe.
The washer goes on top of the downpipe?
Yeah, the downpipe will slide in between the gasket and the washer.
Right.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Nick, so we got the exhaust in, man. This is exciting. What do you think?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. So at this point, you'd want to install your O2 sensors. Maybe it'd be easier before you do the install. I don't know. At this point, if you're using the piggyback with your stock ECU, you're going to have your upstream O2 sensor, which is before the cat, and your downstream. So downstream is down here by this hanger. Upstream is up here. We're going to be using the standalone ECU, so we just have one wideband, and that's going to be before your cat. And then we're going to leave the plug in the downstream one.
Perfect.